Growing up in a small town in the Midwest, there were a lot of things that most people probably say that there's nothing to do, there are boring places to go to. In some cases, yes, that's true. But in my hometown, me and my friends never had a boring moment. In fact, we did spend a lot of time by exploring some old abandoned factories or old abandoned homes that were scattered either outside or into downtown of our hometown. And for privacy, I'm not going to mention my hometown's name just because of privacy of it. But like many cities, small towns, there are always some connection towards something particularly eventful. Like small towns can have connection towards the Civil War, or even could have been connected to some certain famous scientist, inventor, or even a politician. But my hometown is connected to not because of to a man, but he is not well known as a politician or anything. He was a thief. His name was Jason. Jason had a short time reign of terror when he stole gold from trains. He did that between the year 1868 and 1870. That was the most of that. But according to legend, the gold that he stole, he hid it. He hid it in a cave somewhere in my hometown. And he did stole a lot of gold. But according to legend, before he was captured, he had booby-trapped the cave so that if anyone would even try to find his gold, they would be given a big surprise by either being buried tons of rock or even being blown up. That was at least what he told before he was hanged. That according to this quote, if you dare find my gold, you will be buried with it. That was his last words. And even after his death, people scattered across in the woods around the small town for years to find this alleged cave, but no one never found the cave. People spent decades. Many even tried to spend time to just study his movements throughout the years when he was active on gold stealing gold. But no one actually could never find even a single trace or even anything. Even there were a lot of caves in the area, but some of them has been immediately being rolled out. Some weren't even deep enough to be the cave. Even though people went in to find any trace of it, this could have been if he could have blown the entrance towards the cave. But others' cave had been found, but they were not deep enough. Others were too small. And over time, this story went to just a legend. But to me and my friends who grew up, was born and raised in this small town, had been knowing this story for years. And even including some of our parents, our grandparents may have also been trying to find this alleged gold treasure. But even people thought, what about this was a treasure map? But that would have been too easy. But all the things supposed changed when a man in the 1960s claimed to have found the alleged cave, but it turned out it was a fake story. People had tried it also for years. They claimed that they found part of the gold, or even have found the cave itself, but kept it hidden for themselves so that no one would steal the gold from them. Ever since then, people had tried to find the gold, but no one haven't succeeded to even by this day. But all that would eventually change when me and my friends, by a random accident, came across something that most people probably wouldn't have done. This happened in 2015 when I was 15 years old. I was at my best friend's place, Daniel, and the summer break had just started. And we were just sitting in his room playing video games, and we were quite bored. After all, we have played this almost the same games for a long time. And after a little while, he felt like we should do something else. Yeah, but what like what? We already played your games like 3 times already, and you don't have any new games. Yeah, but what about we use something else? I mean, it's a nice weather for once, and my parents they probably be telling us leave the house, get the fresh air. Yeah, but we're doing what? Go to the park, play soccer? Hmm, probably. How about we go into the woods? Try to find Jason's lost gold treasure. We had tried it ourselves when we were younger, but never found even a particular cave for doing that. Even if we did find a cave, we have been forbidden to even go in one of those caves because not because that we were too young, because some of them could have been dangerous. Well, I mean, have you even thought you're too old for looking for the treasure? Me too old? I mean, my grandfather spent some time to find it, and he was in his late 60s when he finally decided to give up. Point taken. So, okay, Daniel, where did you had in mind to be looking? Daniel went to a bookshelf and pulled out a map. He showed me over a map of our small hometown and the in the forest in the area. There was marked as several red X or cross. What are those? Those are some of the caves that I have been to. Wow, you really have been to all those caves? How many are they? It's about maybe 12 of them total. You have been to all those 12? Well, yeah, but let me guess. There were not that is described in the story, not big enough, not deep enough, or just a big hole in the ground. Yeah, something like that. But there is one thing that I actually want to try. I discovered it was a cave not far from here. How? I just found it by an accident actually, and it's located right here. And he pointed between not that far from a big cave. Wait, have it? You never even been there? No. But the thing is, it's well hidden under some big tree roads or something like that. The entrance isn't even that big. Probably, I would guess maybe 4 or 5 feet in size. But it went go right deep. Have you even been there? Um, I did. Went in there only for a while. But how far? Probably 10 feet in. Only 10 feet? Not that anymore. No, it's not because I didn't. It was only getting late. And I only had my flashlight. And and, and you were hoping to get me interested to follow with you. Yeah, but there is something else. What is it? While I was in there, I did discover something. Someone had carved something on the walls. Oh yeah? What? It was a big two letters actually. Which letter was that? I asked. It was a J and a T. J T Jason Thompson. You know the robber? Wait, are you serious? Yes. Are you really serious? I'm not about pulling my leg. No, I'm not pulling a leg here, dude. Have you ever thought me lying to you before? No, you're good point. So, what else? It's just that. I had to be other caves. And I even had asked my grandfather, well, and as you know, he's not in as good conditions anymore. I asked him if he knew any detail of the cave where Jason supposed hid his treasure. If there's any trace or any sort of signature that he left behind, or anything, just in case. And my grandfather told me that there's only one known detail. It was actually that he left his initials, JT. But it was one other thing my grandfather told me. What was that? That Jason Thompson actually were involved with a woman in this small town at the time. Really? Yeah. And get this. He was actually my great 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 grandfather. He was your great 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 grandfather? Yeah. Are you serious? Yeah. So you're actually related to that famous bank robber, the gold train robber? Mm-hmm. Very same. Have you told anyone of this? Oh no, not that a chance. But if we were going to look for this treasure, should we bring someone else with us? Are you serious about that, dude? Yes. Oh, think about it. If we stored that much gold, if there was more of us, we would be able to carry a lot more of gold. It will take trips maybe easier. Yeah, but who can we trust to being trustworthy? Well, how about Michael? Michael and Anna, my girlfriend. They can be trustworthy enough. Yeah, that's true. So both me and Daniel decided to make this trip. That same evening, I called my girlfriend and asked her. At first, she was very hesitating to even go with us. After all, caves could be dangerous. Who knew? What if there was any animals down there, like a bear, or even mountain lions or something? And may have a point, or even poisonous snakes could have been down there. But we were only going to explore at least part of the cave just to see if there was any even deep enough to could have been the actual treasure cave. So she was on the idea, and I texted Michael, and he was on already because he didn't hesitate to want to find the supposed treasure. We decided to go there in the weekend, and we brought us with some flashlights and of course and even some batteries just in case if one of our flashlights would run out of power. But we even brought with us some charcoal or shocks that we could mark the entrance or where to find so we wouldn't get lost. Unless it was more if there were multiple different tunnels down there. That was one of the things that I did actually came across. So we went down there to this forest that were on Saturday where Daniel claimed to found a cave. Even on the way there when we bike ride, some of us actually didn't believe this supposed treasure even existed, including myself. But since Jason was actually a real person, so even though it's true that he was real, but that at least according to the story that he stole so much gold alone, it is very much difficult to say for certain if he actually even stole that much or if he stole some gold. But when we arrived, Daniel told us to hide to some of the bikes behind the bushes, and we had to walk because the terrain was not good enough for bikes. And we took that advice and we walked for maybe 20 minutes. But then he pointed where we were supposed to be. Luckily though, the cave was about 5 feet big enough for us to even crawl in. There were at least some daylight. We arrived there about at least noon. So we had some daylight inside the cave for maybe only a few feet. When we were deeper enough, we had to use our flashlights. And even when Michael said, well, we should out for the dangerous animals like mountain lions, snakes. Snakes? Said Anna, my girlfriend at the time. Well, she's still my girlfriend today, you know. But I told her, don't worry. I don't think there's any snake in here. If we are finding any, we will back out without a question. As we were walking, we looked at this mark that Daniel claimed to found, and I was looking closer to it. I can immediately tell it wasn't a brand new mark. It was an old one. But I couldn't say exactly how old, if it was a decade old or if it was 100 years old. But at least that was at least a proof enough for us that this could have been made by Jason himself. And it had to be at least 140 or at least around that time frame, around the 140 plus year old mark. As Daniel told us, we should continue to walk as far as we could, just in case of that. And we walked and walked and walked. But I did mention one thing, but before we start walking to the others, always been aware that according to the story that Jason put on booby traps somewhere in this cave to protect his gold. As we were walking and walking, it still felt like we went deeper and deeper in the ground. I looked at my watch, and we have been walking for maybe almost an hour. And but after a while though, we didn't find any signs of anything that's man-made. Crates, treasures, anything. Some of us actually started being wondering if this was just another fake cave. Perhaps that someone actually put the JT by the entrance and to be luring fake people into fake cave. But Daniel, he was a strong believer in this. But after a while, he said, we should continue, go deeper. But Anna, who was very much hesitated to this, stated, well, we don't really know how deep this cave can go. And who knows? I mean, what if it is we are too deep enough and if there's something happen, we can't even get any help in time? Anna was getting a little bit scared and she wanted to go back up to the surface again. And even though Michael wanted to find the treasure himself, he also started to question if this was even wise enough to continue. And we have been walking for a while now, and some of us actually was getting hungry. But Daniel said, well, we can just eat something that I brought. All of us looked at him and, wait, you actually brought snacks with you? Well, yeah. Then he showed us some packages of sandwiches. We decided to sit down and eat for a little bit, and it was then I decided to break the news to both Anna and Michael that Daniel was directly descendant of Jason Thompson. Michael was very hesitant to even believe that story first, but he actually believed me. But first of all, I had never lied to any of my friends. And if this was a sort of prank or a joke, I would have immediately started laughing. But he saw that I was serious. And Anna, she immediately believed me. After maybe half an hour of eating, we decided to continue to go deeper in the cave for another 2 hours. But if we were to find anything by then, we decided to go back and maybe come back another time. But as we could keep walking deeper, continue to go deeper, we saw something. Another mark on the wall, GT, but and also like an X. We wonder, could the treasure be buried right here? But Daniel said didn't believe that he would just bury all that treasure right there. But he decided why not to try to dig down there just a little bit to see if there was any signs of it digging. But there weren't any. The ground hadn't even been disturbed there at all. So we continued to walk a little deeper. Then we saw the tunnel started open up a bit more, and suddenly we were in this like a big room. There was probably 10 feet across and maybe it's 10 feet high from the floor to the top. And middle of the room, there was this big dirt, like a big dirt pile. We didn't have no idea what this could have been. So we closely walked up to this place and started moving some of the dirt, and underneath we found a big wooden box. By looking at the box, it had been there for quite a long time. And even the box had some old writings. It says dynamite, like TNT. We were really hesitating to believe if that was real dynamite, and if the dynamite has been there since in the late 1800s, they could have been quite unstable. And that is one thing I will tell my friends. We shouldn't even touch this. But Daniel, he didn't believe me. He removed all the dust from this big box and he opened it slowly. It wasn't dynamite, it was gold. It was gold bars inside it. It was at least the amount of gold that we all believed was actually. But I first believed, wait, is this the real gold that Jason stole? There had to be. I mean, I have been to different other many mine caves and area. This is the only we have found. But wait, how do we know this is real? What if this is just some bricks that may be painted gold? Who would spend the time to go this deep down in a mine or in this old cave? Did you do this? Said Michael. Well, would you? If it was a part of prank, maybe, but I don't know. By looking at gold, wait, wait, this. I took my pocket knife and scraped some of the gold bars, just in case to see if there was any paint. But it wasn't. Guys, this is definitely the real deal. We found that some people have been looking for over 150 years, I said almost loudly. But what should we do? It's not like we can carry it all the way back to the surface. Well, we can always take some of the bars with us and prove to my parents, your parents, and basically everyone. But there is one thing I would have to mention as I did that. Wait, what's this? Said Michael and looked on the ground beneath. He said, I wouldn't even touch that if I were you, said Michael, almost scarily. Why? Look, it was rigged with dynamite underneath. I think this is Jason Thompson's booby trap that he claimed that had been put so that no one would be able to take his gold. This probably too old enough that won't even work anymore. I wouldn't even know that, Mike Daniel, I said. Dynamites can be sure being unstable after a long time. I mean, are you really that stupid to take the risk? What if you wanted to do this and bury yourself underneath all this? And who knows? Well, what should we do? Take the gold and leave the box? First of all, Daniel, I think maybe we should leave it. Oh, you're crazy! We had then done this big discovery that could change our lives. Think about it, all the gold. Yeah, I know, but I didn't want to risk my life or Anna's life in this. I won't even risk you. Daniel was very much hesitated to even trust any of us. What should we do then? Well, we can just, if we both remove the gold bars one by one and then leave. Um, Daniel, that might be a good idea. But what if the dynamite are made? I mean, what if Jason put something that to like a pressure? You have watched too much movies, have you? No, it's true. It's possible if ancient people back in in movies can have done it. What can this has been real? I mean, what if the box has been heavy enough? Have been keeping those dynamites in pressured to make sure they won't go off. If the bars being removed, the box pressure won't be released. Who would say they won't explode? And I will very much start believing in this. Yeah, we should listen to him. And how do we know that's for sure? Said Daniel. I mean, what? Maybe this is not going to work. Okay, how about this? How about we took one bar each, and then put some of the sand in it, and then take another bar and fill the box with more sand to equal the pressure. Said Michael. That might work, but how do the we don't even know exactly. Okay, if it works, and we don't even know how much gold bars there are in this box, and since gold bars can be quite a weight, how do we know if we can even carry all gold bars with back us? Have you thought about it? No, but we had to do something. But Michael was interrupted by Daniel, who started lifting some of the gold bars already. And already lifted like 4 gold bars, but I missed it. Stop! What? Have you even listened to the plan? Don't worry, I only filled some of the sand in. I looked, and it did. But then he had only left at least 4 gold bars, and I said, put back at least some of them. We can only carry at least perhaps only two of them with us. Fine, said Daniel, and put at least some of the gold bars back. But as we were about to leave, I heard something. Do you all hear that? What? Um, it sounded like a spark. We all turned around and saw in the distance. Daniel, did you do that? No. Maybe something has been tricked. Maybe it was another booby trap, said Michael. I should be telling you, run! All started running is throughout the cave, and we only took 2 gold bars with us. But as we were about to leave, both me and Anna, who were holding one of the gold bars, tripped, and we dropped the gold bars. And as we were to do it, we heard this big explosion, and we heard and felt the entire cave started collapsing under above us. I just stood up as fast as I could, grabbed Anna's hand, and like told the others, "Run!" And we took off as fast as we could. But Daniel stood quick to stand, stopped for a second, like, "What about the gold bars? Leave them. We can't leave. You want to leave? We'll be buried alive." But Daniel, he listened for once and followed after us. We managed to get out in time. We managed to get out of the cave just before the whole entrance collapsed in behind us. We just stood there watching it as it just happened. I can't believe it, said Daniel. All that gold now buried in there. I don't think you even should try to get back there, I said to Daniel. It is worthless now. But at least we can prove the story was real. Yeah, but who would believe us? Said Daniel. We would, said Michael and Anna. Yeah, if we went alone, we probably even had been able. No one would believe us. But we have at least 2 more witnesses with us. And who would even believe about any of this? Well, maybe this could be an evidence enough, said Anna, and showed us a gold bar. What? I thought you dropped it. I did, but I managed to pick it up. You actually have enough evidence. But what shall we do? Turn it in? Well, who knows? People wouldn't even believe us otherwise. How about we start by where my grandfather's place first, said Daniel. Since Daniel's request, since his grandfather was dying, and he wanted to have his grandfather been to at least holding a piece of one of the gold bars that Daniel's ancestor Jason Thompson took. So we covered the gold bar and went over to Daniel's grandfather's place, and his grandfather was like, "Daniel, my old boy, what brings you here? And your friends? Come in, come in." We sat by in the living room, and Daniel was like, "Grandfather, you remember the time you told me about this gold cave? Well, the lost gold cave of Jason Thompson, our ancestor." "Oh, yes, I remember that one. It's a good story." Well, Daniel then explained to his grandfather that he found the gold cave. "Ah, so you actually did find it. Well, maybe we can go." But Daniel said, "No, grandfather, it's gone." "What?" "Jason had a booby trap to the cave, and we set it off by accident. So all that gold is buried forever. Actually, not all of the gold. What? So his grandfather said a bit surprised. Anna showed him one of the gold bars. Is this really? May I? He held the gold bars in his hand and is like, your grandfather is a happy man right now. His grandfather was happy to at least hold one of these alleged claimed gold bars that his ancestor Jason took all those years ago. Jason's ancestor Daniel and me and all our friends, we decided to keep the gold bar. But we decided to keep it, but we donated to the local museum. At first, people didn't believe it was an actual real gold bar, but we had it tested, and it came actually from the time frame. People asked us where the cave were, but we refused to even mention exactly because we decided to let the rest of the gold just stay there. And unfortunately, only a few weeks later, Daniel's grandfather passed away, and his last wish is that he could have a gold ring made of that gold, which we allowed. All those years ago, to find alleged gold cave of a one old bank robber, or at least this train robber, it was an excitement. It beats all the old abandoned factories and old houses in our hometown. But now, I'm just happy that we've been able to tell this story to some of my friends and even my own children today. And for that, I'm happy to have fulfilled an old childhood dream. And for this, I'm really excited.